Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, I am switching something over on this
Hey.
side.
Hey is for horses.
So we were driving down the road one time, down the freeway, and there was a truck full of hay and a truck full of manure. And I'm all, hey, bullshit.
Yay.
It was fun.
It was. It was a fun time that
It
was
was
had
fun
by
time.
all.
All right. So
Buttons.
buttons on your underwear.
Yay. I am tagging people right now. I'm sorry.
All right. Look at this, guys. I got shiny eyeliner. Anywho. So, hi, Mike. How are you doing? Hello, Shell. How are you doing? Susan Lewis. Hello, hello. Susan Hall. Hello, hello.
Susan.
I'm gonna burp. Sorry. Okay. Hello, hello. I see Calvin. Calvin. Hello. Hello, Artemis. How are you? And yeah, we're doing good, Susan. Yes, I got my vest on tonight. This is like my normal everyday wear. I love it. It's one of my favorites. This one is always fun. It says, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" What's Hexus on today?
Hmm.
I
What's Hexus on? What?
life?
What's Hexus on today? I'm on stuff.
I don't know. Don't know. But yes, this is my Just come play with us. Oh my god.
What happened?
I'm so sorry.
Read it out loud. Sorry.
I sort of don't want to.
Oh. Maybe you shouldn't have brought that up at all.
I'm so sorry. It's are
Yeah.
okay, two questions. Is he okay and are you okay? That's
Yeah.
terrifying. That is terrifying.
Haha.
Oh, I don't know.
Did I eat edibles? No. Not
Not
yet. I
not yet.
did, but I'm good. Mhm.
Oh good. Oh
Oh.
good. Oh good. Oh
Yeah.
good. Whew.
All right. So
Okay, so
tonight
the
we
question
are.
I'm sorry, but so the question is, Susan, are you okay? Really? Because that's a stressful thing to go through. I'm glad he's doing all right and he's healing up and on the mend, but are you okay? You just oh wow. Just went back to work. All right. We summoned you, Sven. We always want you in here. All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I had nothing else to say.
So
I was just making sure
we
she's
are
okay.
finishing up Kemper Part 2 tonight. Going into all of his victims and stuff. It's gonna be fun.
I imagine so, man. Um, you're definitely in my thoughts, and so is he. All right, so I'll have to answer some questions. I'm getting messages and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
notes.
but yeah. So let's get into talking about Edmund Kemper again. Why are they up like 3 times here?
I don't know. You got to scroll down to where the victims are.
I'm aware. Keep talking.
Yeah.
So, here we go. Wow. Talk about his early life.
Head size holes tonight. Susan Hall says. Iramitio.
Yep.
And body parts tonight. Yes.
So,
Well, you probably should put up the trigger warning right now. This is going to get brutal.
Okay. All right. So, let's start with this one, just because. Under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research is not an infringement of copyright. Warning, the related content may be disturbing to some individuals, so viewer discretion is advised. Please be reminded that this is a 18 and over stream.
Yes.
And
We're
let's
going to say
go
fuck a lot.
with trigger warning.
We're going to really describe what ear matio is. Just to let you guys know.
Yes. And this is up here from Sass.
Oh.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna delete that. Okay, good. I'm glad he's doing a lot better. So let's get into Edmund Kemper. We already talked about his first murders, which were his paternal grandparents. His grandmother Maud was murdered by him because she had enraged him and
She
was
opened her
talking
mouth.
down to him and treating him like a subhuman.
She was
So
being extremely bad to his grandfather too. She was no different than his mother. Like she was bad.
oh yeah, and it kind of triggered the PTSD that he had from his mother.
It also doesn't give him the right to kill
No,
her.
it doesn't give him the right, but I'm explaining
Yeah.
what was happening.
Well, I'm just saying when I was saying she was being bad, yeah, she was very toxic, but it still didn't give him the right to kill his grandmother or anything like that.
Exactly. His mom was her name is Clarnell, right?
Clarnell.
Clarnell. So basically, the grandmother reminded him of Clarnell, his mother, who, if I needed to remind you guys, would lock him in a basement at night before allowing his siblings, his sisters, to go up into their comfy beds. His basement, mind you, had a mattress, if that, on the floor, no lights, and it was locked from the outside. He would often feel rats biting at him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And now we did talk about his time at Atascadero, the California Youth Psychiatry, or excuse me, Youth Authority, and this was over in the what is it called?
The what?
The It was a psychiatric center in Atascadero, but it was for the criminally.
Tascadero is all pretty much. It's all. I hate to say it this way, but it's pretty much all like rapists and stuff like that. That's where they send a lot of people there.
But I'm trying to think of the word of what the
penal colony.
Center.
A penal a men's facility is what it is.
Well, this one in particular was for people with significant mental issues.
Psych ward.
Kind of, I guess, yeah.
Arkham. It was definitely Arkham.
Hey, Shelby. Hello.
Hey, Shelby. Hey, Nadine. Sorry, I burped.
Sven traumatized me, baby.
Hey, you don't like the traumatizing?
Nadine! Your boots are being painted, by the way. I didn't like the first paint that I bought, so I had to order new paint.
Your boots are made for walking, Nadine.
So, sorry, it's taking quite a long time for them. But let's see. So, we also spoke about how he was released on his 21st birthday. He was paroled from Atascadero, and his juvenile records were permanently expunged.
Well, I mean, that is something that's a common thing because it all happened before he was 18.
But something of this caliber, they don't usually expunge it.
For the most part, yeah, they don't. This one, how they expunged it though, they actually just took a Sharpie and just marked everything out. That's all they did. That's how like later on we're gonna get into when he has one of his first encounters with a cop showing up at his house to get his guns. They were just going through like records in San Francisco, and all they did was read. They saw that he had a ton of stuff redacted, taken out, and then they just like basically held it up to a light because they could still see whatever it was on there, and they read it. They were like, "We need to go get his guns right now."
Susan says, a guy came into work the other day and looked a lot like Kemper. I rounded the corner and immediately turned and went the other way. Scared the shit out of me for a second.
Did you guys ever did you listen to the Kemper episode from Dan Cummings on Time Suck? whenever like Dan Cummings does his Kemper impersonation, it's fucking hilarious. Where
I
he's
haven't
all,
heard it.
"Mother, I'm so angry." Just how he does it, I laugh so hard every time Dan Cummings does it.
The metal show got me sore as fuck today. Bang over. Nice.
Huh. You know what? Maybe we should Google "bang over" and see what comes
No,
up.
I'm good.
No. We're gonna do that
No,
later.
I'm good. Uh, Feeling a lot better since surgery. A little bit of pain and recovering. Nice. Glad you're recovering. I'm happy to hear that. And we're doing really well to answer your question.
Yay.
Let the, not much going on. Let the psycho loose.
Yeah, that's basically what they did.
So going back over something that we had covered last week, um, the last report from the probation psychiatrist read, and this was on November 29th, 1972. If I were to see this patient without having any history available or getting any history from him, I would think that we're dealing with a very well adjusted young man who had initiative, intelligence, and who was free of any psychiatric illnesses. It is my opinion that he has made a very excellent response to the years of treatment and rehabilitation, and I would see no psychiatric reason to consider him to be of any danger to himself or to any member of society. And since it may allow him more freedom as an adult to develop his potential, I would consider it reasonable to have a permanent expunction of his juvenile records.
Well, okay, all he did at the time, I'm not making light of the fact that he killed his grandparents, but all he did was kill his grandparents. He didn't fuck the heads this time. He just killed his grandparents. And I'm pretty sure if he would have fucked the heads, they would have been like, "Okay, we probably need to just keep him in here."
So let's get into the murders. So
Near day.
the later murders, I should say, the ones that happened after. Now, mind you, keep in mind that he moved out with a friend to Alameda, but then he ended up coming back to his mother's house or apartment in Aptos, which is close to like Capitola and Santa Cruz.
Yep.
At a Santa Cruz beach, Kemper met a student from Turlock High School to whom he became engaged in March of 73. The engagement was broken off after Kemper's second arrest, and his fiance's parents requested her name not be revealed to the public. The same year that he began to work for the Highway Division, Kemper was hit by a car while riding a motorcycle, and he received, or
He
excuse me, that he had purchased recently. He had really injured his arm very badly in it, and received the equivalent now to actually it's probably more now. So the equivalent in 2021 to $91,563 in a settlement that was a civil suit against the car's driver.
he basically the car's driver funded his killings after this
Yeah,
because he didn't have to work.
because he ended up getting a Galaxy. So,
Oh god, those galaxies were so badass though.
was it a
He had a
Galaxy 500?
no, he had a galaxy. That's
He
what
didn't
he
have a
had.
Galaxy 500?
Basically the same thing. Just one has a big block and everything in it. So,
Things are all right because I got my Galaxy 500.
the dude was smart, man. Like he literally took when he went out practicing, he took I know we're recapping here, but he took like chapstick. And the reason why he picked that car too was because of how the doors opened up on the inside where the armrest was. That's also where the door latch was. And then it's a little holder. So what he did was he took the chapstick and stuck it in there. He would palm it in there and right in front of the girls so they couldn't put their hand on there and get the door open or anything like that. He is he is super intelligent.
Don't you know his ex was like, "Holy shit." Once everything came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I don't think no, actually I think he probably would have if he had an angry moment. I think he would have killed his ex. Because most of his killings too, we're gonna get into this too. All these took place. These ones all took place when his mother would fight with him, and he would just go out and blow off steam by killing chicks.
Pretty much. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
All right. So let's get into this. Let's talk about the later murders.
The Murdies.
Between May 1972 and April 1973, Kemper killed 8 people, all women. He would pick up female students who were hitchhiking and take them to isolated areas where he would shoot, stab, smother, or strangle them. He would then take their bodies back to his home where he would decapitate them and perform irrematio on their heads.
Edematio.
Sometimes he would have sexual intercourse with their corpses and then he would dismember them.
Uh, real fast before we get in, I just want to throw out there, I don't think he killed any more than what he said he did. He was very open and very honest with the stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that part
Oh,
yet.
excuse me, sorry. No, it just said 8 right there between w when he got out of prison.
Where?
Right at the top, wasn't it?
Nope.
Um,
I said that he.
just hitchhiking and take them. Oh, why did I think that? Huh.
Yes, Murdy's and Mercia.
Murdy's and Mercia. If that's not a hipster album, I don't know what is.
That's gonna be our first album.
That's gonna be our first hipster album.
No hipsters. Just call it Murdy's and Mercia. During this 11-month murder spree, Kemper killed 5 college students, 1 high school student, his mother's best friend. Kemper has stated in interviews that he often searched for victims after having arguments with his mother and that she refused to introduce him to women attending the university where she worked. He recalled that she would say, she would say, "You're just like your father. You don't deserve to get to know them."
Right there. She
So,
that is something that she kept saying to him throughout his life, though. Like, you're beneath these girls. You're beneath your sisters, and you constantly hear that, and mix that with psychopathy. You're gonna be a fucked up serial killer.
mhm. Psychiatrists and even Kimber himself stated that they had the belief that the young women were surrogates for his ultimate target, which would be his mother,
Yeah.
which was explained in one of our previous episodes. Uh,
Uh-oh. What are you?
Alright, give me a second. I hate this thing is so slow. But yeah, so
What are we doing?
I was trying to do something. I was hoping you would still talk because you
I
talked the whole time otherwise. Talk.
I sorry.
Speak. Say something. I don't know.
Something?
Okay. Well, Mary Ann Pesci and Anita Lucchesa. On May 7th, 1972, Kemper was driving in Berkeley when he picked up 2 18-year-old hitchhiking students from Fresno State University, Mary Ann and Anita Mary, with the pretense of taking them to Stanford University. After driving for an hour, he managed to reach a secluded wooded area near Alameda, with which he was familiar from his work on the department, without alerting his passengers that he had changed directions from where they wanted to go. It was there that he handcuffed uh, Marianne and locked Anita in the trunk, then stabbed and strangled Marianne to death, subsequently killing Anita in a similar manner. Kemper later confessed that while handcuffing Marianne, he brushed the back of his hand against one of her breasts and it embarrassed him, adding that he said, "Whoops, I'm sorry," or something
Mother.
like that, after grazing her breast, despite murdering her minutes later.
Mother wouldn't like me rubbing her titties. That's pretty much what it was.
Why would you even that's
I
bleh.
don't.
I don't know what that says, Sven. I really don't know what that says, Sven. Um, so Kemper put both of the women's bodies in the trunk of his Ford Galaxy and returned to his apartment. He was stopped on the way back home by a police officer because he had a broken tail light. But the officer did not detect the corpses in the car, and Kemper's roommate wasn't home, so he took the bodies into his apartment and photographed them and had intercourse with the corpses before he dismembered them.
This is how good of a charm how much of a charmer he was, even with the police, like, got pulled over after he did this, directly after he did this, and just talked his way out of it, and all the cop had to do was look in his back seat. It
Yeah.
wasn't even in his trunk.
No, it was in his trunk.
I thought one of them was in the back
Nope,
seat.
it says he put both of them in the trunk.
Oh, okay.
So he then put the bodies into plastic bags, which he later abandoned near Loma Prieta Mountain or Prieta before disposing of Marianne and Anita's severed heads in a ravine. He had indeed engaged in eramatio with both of them.
Edimisio.
In August of that year, Marianne's skull was found in that mountain. An extensive search failed to turn up the rest of her remains, though, or a trace of Anita at all.
It's crazy to think how
Hi, Lori.
hi, Lori, how, like, the jump in logic with these people like this, how they literally are like, "Oh my god, I hate my mom, so I'm gonna run out and kill, some people and stuff like that." And then they're like, "Well, you know what? I've got these sexual urges. I might as well just have sex with the head." Something that he never did or anything like that before prior to this. So,
So yeah, let's get into Aiko. So Aiko Ku, um, excuse me, was a 15-year-old dance student. Excuse me. On the evening of September 14th, 1972, Kemper picked up a 15-year-old dance student named Aiko Ku, who had decided to hitchhike to a dance class after missing her bus. He again drove to a remote area where he pulled a gun on Ku before accidentally locking himself out of the car. However, he actually convinced her. He was such a smooth talker that he actually convinced her to let him back into the car and hand him the gun. And then when he got back into the car, he proceeded to choke her unconscious, rape her, and kill her. Kemper subsequently packed Ku's body into the trunk of his car and went to the nearby bar to have a few drinks, then returned to his apartment. He later confessed that after exiting the bar, he opened the trunk of his car and admired his catch like a fisherman.
yeah. This is and mind you, this is the bar that he always went to with the cops called the jury room.
Right?
So there was always police, detectives, or whatnot out there or in the bar, and he's opening up the trunk of his car, admiring his catch, admiring his kill and stuff like that, like it's nothing.
Yeah,
This is how comfortable he got. This is how easy it was for him to do these things.
I'm missing a pen. Oh, wrong one. Whew. So back at his apartment, per the usual, or I guess the standard set by the previous murders, um, he had intercourse with the corpse, dismembered and disposed of the remains in a similar manner as of his two previous victims. And Ku's mother actually called the police to report the disappearance of her daughter and put hundreds of flyers up asking for information, but she never received any responses regarding her daughter's location or status. Hey, Connor.
Hey, Connor.
It's all right. No worries. Good to see you, man. Cindy Shaw. On January 7th, 1973, Kemper, who had moved back to his mother's place at this point, was driving around the Cabrillo College campus when he picked up 18-year-old Cynthia Ann Shaw, known as Cindy. He drove to a wooded area and fatally shot her with a .22 caliber pistol. He then placed her body in the trunk of his car and drove to his mother's house, where he kept her body hidden in the closet of his room overnight. When his mother left for work the next morning, he had sexual intercourse with the excuse me, with the body removed the bullet from the body,
Oh, that
and
is
then dismembered and decapitated her in his mother's bathroom.
that is something that he did with every one of his victims that he used the gun on. He made sure to remove the bullet. Hey, Dizzy.
Hey, Dizzy, how
Yeah.
are you doing?
They never caught him on
I feel this.
any other rounds or any of that stuff. So
I feel this,
yeah.
Connor. We're getting there, Sky. We are getting there. Hello, how are you? So yeah, so and yes, Sky, you are right. You're right. Um, he actually kept Cindy's severed head for days, regularly engaging in aromatia with it, then buried it in his mother's garden, facing upwards towards her bedroom, stating that his mother had always wanted somebody to look up to her.
I don't think he did eventually. If he did do that, like they think this might be one of the things that he embellished a little bit, just because the way Kemper operated too, it's almost like he has bits with how he says things when you listen to interviews with him. They actually one of my favorite podcasts, last podcast on the left, brought that up and how he does stuff. It's he wants to say what he has to say so he can get whatever rise out of people or however he says things. They think that if he did do this, he dug the head back up again later on and got rid of it.
He did.
Oh,
That's exactly what he did. He had planted her. He put her head there and had it facing upwards. It was buried, but he knew that it was facing upwards. And he said that his mother had always wanted somebody to look up to her. And then he discarded the rest of the remains off of a cliff and eventually went back and grabbed the head and also discarded it.
Vice.
I know I was about to say hi. That's funny. Vice! Mwah. Hey, wait, where'd the comment go that I saw? There it is. Tries to sneak in by climbing through the window.
You can come through the front door. You're going to be coming through the front door, actually.
Yay! I'm so excited. You don't even understand. She understands. You understand. But nobody else understands how excited I fucking am for this. Okay. Back to being somewhat normal.
Haha.
Vigo!
Yay. Bring me a child so that I might live again.
So now we're talking about
just a diamond in the rough. I'm sorry. I can't mix two voices up there. Wait. I gotta do it. I'm sorry. It's just a diamond in the rough. What? The wrong way.
There we go. It's just a diamond in the rough.
yes, so okay. Actually, I have a funny story about this song.
About tiptoeing through the window?
About the Tiny Tim tiptoe through the tulips, through the
So he threw the rock.
So, my friend Ashley in high school, her parents had a place in Palm Springs and they were selling it. So we went out there to clean it up. And it was crazy what like some like squatters had done to the area and done to the house. They had gone through their entire record collection. They were thrown outside and these records were warped. I don't know what he's doing back there, honestly. But so we put it on a record player while it was warped like this. And it was the creepiest thing. I wish I had recorded it because it was like tiptoe through the tulips, through the garden, through the willow trees. Give me just with that being said, we're gonna go to commercial. We'll be right back.
You are found guilty of witchcraft. found guilty. You are found guilty. Which crime? You are found guilty.
Yeah.
Hello, all you beautiful people out there. It's your boy Sleepy. And when I'm not guzzling down gallons and gallons of amazing ice cream, yes, oh, I love ice cream. Oh, hang on. I'm watching PBDC TV. Now, back to the show, all you beautiful people. And remember, stay nasty.
Hey,
That was funny. Sorry, we had to like rush to a commercial real fast. Yes, it is a remix. It
For
was.
what?
You weren't listening?
I had to let the cat out.
I'm not gonna do it again. It was a warped
Oh,
record with that song "Tiptoe Through the Tulips" by Tiny
yeah, but
Tim.
then you get the cool version of it where it's what was the movie? Oh crap, I can't think of
It really was.
the one where the chick she was like a medium and stuff like that, and it came out recently. The Conjuring or something like that, wasn't it, or something along those lines? Yeah, and then a demon in that had like it was playing the record of Tip Through all that stuff, but it was all warped. It was cool.
That's what I. That's what I said and did. It was like warped up and down, so it would kind of sound normal for a second, and then it would speed up and go high pitched, and then it would slow down a lot and like really, really, really distort. And I was in tears. I was laughing so hard.
It's like my Moonfog compilation that
Oh,
yeah, she put cat food outside for meth.
God, it's horrible.
It's like my stupid ex when she stuffed all those records away that I had.
I don't even want
My
to talk about that.
Moonfog
I'm so
compilation.
fucking
Then
pissed
like
about that.
then I actually tried out the Moonfog compilation, and like it was actually super cool black metal, but then all of a sudden it'd be like like that. Like I was so mad.
I know, I do too, right? Yeah, Tiny Tim was creepy anyway. He always looked sweaty. All right, let's get back to this. Woo! So Rosalind Thorpe and Allison Leo. Is that where we were? No, we weren't. That's not where we were. So where we were before, like, I totally got thrown off by myself here. And by the way, thank you, Sky. I saw that. I really appreciate that. Oh, God, cat food. So Kemper actually kept Cindy's severed head for days and regularly engaged in iramatio. And as I had said earlier, he then buried her head facing Clarnell's window, facing up, saying that she always wanted people to look up to her. And then, disregarded her remains in a ravine off of a cliff, and then dug up the head and moved it as well. And a pathologist actually determined that her body had been cut into pieces with a power saw. Tiny Tim was moist.
Where's Jen? We didn't tell her that. Moist. The moist maker.
Moist. Moisture of puppets. I can't get that to go away. Jeez.
Yeah, everything's all glitchy right now. It's something weird with the
Yeah.
internet and everything like that. Moist. Does William not like the word moist?
What was the other moist one? Moisture's a puppet. Moisture of puppets.
Speak it in the mic.
I'm asking you, what were the other ones?
It was Moister's Moistalica, the Moister of Puppets, the Moist Fits,
Moist Fits.
and what was it? Oh crap! It was like One Last Moist or something like that.
What was the other one? Badge?
I don't remember.
Well, you don't like your veggies? Don't want to eat your veggies?
Was it? I thought it was just me being a dick to someone one day, calling them veggies or something.
I don't know.
Everett, what's going on?
What's
then?
up? I don't know.
I don't know why I don't get
the book of the face. Sometimes
it happens.
Hellblazer, what's up?
Hello. We try to tag everybody and stuff.
Susan must be tiptoeing through the tulips again. The tulips are moist. It must have been watered out.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait.
So
I get it.
Blue moisture cult.
I get it. Tulips are moist. Sorry, it took me a second. I was like, "Oh, I get it now." I thought we were just saying the word moist just to have
You're
fun.
welcome.
Rage against rage and the moist machine.
I would say rage against the moist sheen.
The moist sheen.
Blue moisture cult.
Blue moisture cult.
Jaeger
the
moisture.
Best. Sorry, I'm still cracking up. I didn't even get. I was like thinking.
Didn't even get on YouTube. Damn.
I was thinking it like literally. We're just saying the word moist just for fun.
We kind of are.
Yeah, but tulips. What's better? What was the
Tommy Tulips.
what was that joke?
Because he has a pussy.
No, what was it? Something better than whatever or whatever, like roses on an organ or roses on a piano with tulips on my organ.
And there you go. He's cracking himself up again.
We're all like worried about iramatio and stuff like that, and like talking about that. I'm over here talking, like laughing at my own jokes. So back to iramatio.
All right. So let's get back over to Rosalind Thorpe and Allison Liu. On February 5th, 1973, after a heated argument with his mother, Kemper left the house in search of a possible victim.
Mother,
With heightened
I must
suspicion,
go out and kill someone.
With heightened suspicion of a serial killer preying on hitchhikers in the Santa Cruz area, students had been advised to accept rides only from cars with university stickers on them. But guess what, guys? Kemper had a university sticker because his mother worked at the University of Santa Cruz. UC Santa Cruz, by the way. And he encountered a 23-year-old Rosalind Heather Thorpe and 20-year-old Alice Helen, known as Allison Liu, on the UCSC campus. According to Kemper, Thorpe entered his car first, reassuring Liu to enter. He first fatally shot Rosalind Thorpe and then Allison Liu with his pistol and wrapped their bodies in blankets. Kemper again brought his victims back to his mother's house. This time he beheaded them in his car and carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to have sex with them. He then dismembered the bodies, removed the bullets to prevent identification, and discarded their remains the next morning. Some remains were found in Eden Canyon a week later, and more found near Route 1 in March. When questioned in an interview as to why he decapitated his victims, he explained, "The head trip fantasies were a bit like a trophy. You know, the head is where everything is at, the brain, the eyes, the mouth. That's the person. I remember being told as a kid, you cut off the head, the body dies. The body is nothing after the head is cut off." Well, that's not quite true. There's a lot left in a girl's body without the head.
Can you bring up Everett's?
Which one? I'm about to.
That one right there.
So on the Ultimate Haunt Tour, an actor popped out and yelled, "Who has the moisture?"
So good.
I think I need to add this into my new thing. Just start screaming "moist" at people and see what happens. They were very moist in those blankets.
They're very moist blankets.
Don't die of laughter. Highlander style. Well,
Highlander style.
there were quite often too, though.
Here we are, born to be kings. I fucking love Highlander. It's one of my favorite fucking movies ever.
And this is where we get to the nitty gritty. This is where we get to what he has been building up to.
Took him 8 people to get to this point, but he finally did.
This
and
is
then
what he wanted to do the entire time.
And then he got one more in for good measure right after this.
Well, he
Directly
couldn't have
after this.
He couldn't have a witness.
No, he called her over. He calls his mom's friends over. He didn't have to kill her.
Yeah, right. And I would have been on the floor laughing.
What was it?
Texas would have been like us with the what the fuck, and then I would have been on the floor laughing like moist.
For what? Oh,
Who has the moisture?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get scared in haunts. I know it's weird. I like them. Love
I would have
haunts.
been on the
I just
floor
don't
laughing.
I probably would have tickled them.
I think I have more jump scares from Dead by Daylight than I do walking through haunts for some reason. But that's because you got people in the ghost face mask that just pop out of nowhere and then they startle me and I start laughing and I kind of scream.
There was only one haunt that actually did. It was actually last year. We went to
17th door?
no, not that one. Not Scary Farm. And it was one of those just generic haunts they had there, but I was not paying attention, and this chick was at the corner at the right time for me. Like she set back up. It was like she got done and she was setting back up for herself, and it was just the perfect timing. And I came around on her, and I literally jumped back. I was like, "Oh!"
He came around on her.
Yeah, if you want me to say it that way, if you want to take it that way. But I literally like jumped. It was the only time I ever actually got really scared, and I was like, "You did." I was like, so like she was even like happy that she scared like a huge guy like me. Like she was like tiny.
There can be only one.
There can be only one Highlander.
All right, here we go. On April 20th, 1973. He must have smoked a lot of weed, but you never know. Haha, 420.
Oh.
Yeah.
Haha.
On I was gonna say on somebody's birthday. On a German dictator's birthday in 1973.
A German dictator?
Yes, dictator. He probably was. I don't know. Tiny little mustache like that? Probably.
Well, that was his dick brush for his dick taster.
He was all.
It was his. I'm sorry.
No, you should not apologize for
no,
making fun of that
I'm just
asshole.
laughing at that. That was like, it was his dick brush for his dick taster. It was a regular old potato penis.
I am down. We should do this.
Or penis potato. There you go.
Yes, penis potato.
Yes.
Das Führer Kartoffel.
Yep.
Sven, I know I said that wrong because I'm bad at German. But I think you know what I said.
I like the Sven keeps putting the Italian thing right there like this.
Because I'm Italian and Siciliano.
You need to visit us. We
Come
eat the
visit.
shrooms and we go to wild hunt in the woods
run through
for
the
the
woods.
pigs. We hunt them nude.
Nazi fluffers.
Nazi fluffers.
Hey, wait. The Italian Loch Ness monster.
Here we go again.
It never gets old.
You want to hunt a boar nude? You come on hunt a boar nude with me. You know, like a hunt a boar nude.
All right.
What you mean you do like a nude pasta?
After coming home from a party, 52-year-old Clarnell Strandberg awakened her son with her arrival. While sitting in her bed and reading a book, she noticed Kemper enter her room and said to him,
Mother.
I suppose you're going to want to sit up all night and talk now.
No, mother.
Kemper replied, no. Good night.
I want to smell your hair, mother.
Okay, I'm going to have to repeat that entire thing now. So, while sitting in her bed reading a book, she noticed Kemper enter her room and said to him, I suppose you're going to want to sit up and talk all night now. Or sit up all night and talk now. Kemper replied, no. Good night. He then waited for her to fall asleep, snuck back into her room, bludgeoned her with a claw hammer, slit her throat with a penknife, and then decapitated her and engaged in aramatio with her severed head.
We just got right to the point on this one.
Yep.
He
then used it as a dartboard.
That's not how you attract a woman, Mr. Kemper.
No.
That's not how. I mean, well, actually, you don't need to attract a woman. I guess you kind of just go out and get them.
Hey.
Hey. Well, you know, like an aramatio.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, you know, like an aramatio. I like an aramatio. Read it with an Italian accent. That's what I've been doing, Sven.
Yeah. So, again, he after doing all of that, he used it as a dartboard, and then he put her head up on a shelf and screamed at it for over an hour,
But
and then threw darts at it, and then ultimately smashed her face in. He also cut out her tongue and her larynx and put it down the garbage disposal. However, the garbage disposal could not break down the tough vocal cords and actually ejected the tissue back into the sink. That seemed so Kemper said that seemed appropriate, as much as she bitched and screamed and yelled at me over so many years
about fixing that damn garbage disposal, and he never did.
No.
And now you see where it got you, Mr. Kemper. You see, you couldn't even dispose of your mother's vocal cords because you didn't fix the goddamn garbage disposal.
I'm way too tired for this shit right now. Kemper hid his mother's corpse in a closet and then went drinking at a nearby bar. Yeah, they got yeeted.
Yeeted? Spin. Okay, I can detect microaggression here. That was a pretty. Yeah, he had some Kemper definitely had some microaggressions, just slightly. So, I think he was only a little bit of passive aggressive. That's it, just a little bit.
Nothing big. Kemper hid his mother's corpse in a closet when drinking at a bar. Upon his return, he invited his mother's best friend, 59-year-old Sarah Taylor, known as Sally Howlett, over to the house to have dinner and watch a movie. When Howlett arrived, Kemper strangled her to death to create a cover story that his mother and her best friend had gone away on a vacation together. He subsequently put Howlett's corpse in a closet, obscured any outward signs of a disturbance, and left a note to the police that it read approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday. No need for her to suffer anymore at the hands of this terrible, murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep, the way I wanted it. Not sloppy and incomplete, gents. Just a lack of time. I got things to do.
He honestly, he was smart about it. I mean, They even said, I know we're going to get into it here in a second, but even the cops said they'd never even figured it would of him doing any of this stuff. That I'm pretty sure that they probably wouldn't even pin this on him for his mother. Probably would not have pinned this on him.
Yeah.
He probably would have got away with this if he would have just went and laid low somewhere.
Gonna bring this over here because I want to sit back. So afterward, Kemper fled the scene. He drove nonstop to Pueblo, Colorado, taking caffeine pills to stay awake for over 1,000 miles.
Trucker's
journey.
choice.
He had 3 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammo in his car. He believed he was the target of an active manhunt. After not hearing any news on the radio about the murders of his mother and her best friend, when he arrived in Pueblo, he found a phone booth and called the police. He confessed to the murders of his mother and Sally. But the police did not take his call seriously and told him to call back at a later time. Several hours later, Kemper called again, asking to speak to an officer that he knew personally. He confessed to that officer of killing his mother and Hallett, then waited for the police to arrive and take him into custody. Upon his capture, Kemper also confessed to the murders of 6 students. When asked in a later interview why he turned himself in, Kemper said the original purpose was gone. It wasn't serving any physical or emotional purpose. It was just a pure waste of time. Emotionally, I couldn't handle it much longer. Toward the end there, I started feeling the folly of the whole damn thing. And at the point of near exhaustion, near collapse, I just said, to hell with it, and called it all off.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
Micro penis syndrome.
So he's
Could
almost.
you imagine how mad he was?
Yeah, especially if he was like, what was he, 6'9"?
Yeah.
And he was not proportionate?
I don't think anything in here mentions the size of his
It
genitalia.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Just to say,
We're just going to look through here for a second.
yeah,
He hasn't
6
died
foot
yet.
9.
He hasn't died yet, so they don't know the size
I
of his
guess we
genitalia.
can write him a letter and say, "Hey, how big is your dick?" Hi, Kemper. We do lots of shows on you, and we were just curious. How big is your dick? We just wanted to know. I mean, you are 6'9". We assume that it's going to be quite large.
Penis.
But actually, yeah, that's part of it. No joke. No
Yeah,
joke. That was part of it.
She would seek him out. He actually would. He was living she would actually go to his apartment on certain days, like just
scream at him.
Yeah, it was nonstop, like nonstop for him.
Of course, my brain thinks of I used to love her, but I had to kill her.
Yeah.
She bitched so much. She drove me nuts. And now we're happier this way. Yes. Sign it. The PBDC audience wants to know. What is that?
It's a moth.
That was not a moth.
I don't know.
That was one of those weird, like, mosquito eater thingies. So I don't want to kill it because you got to get rid of evil ass mosquitoes. So let's talk about the trial. Kemper was indicted on 8 counts of first-degree murder on May 7th, 1973. He was assigned the chief public defender of Santa Cruz County, attorney Jim Jackson. Due to Kemper's explicit and detailed confession, his counsel's only option was to plead not guilty by reason of insanity to the charges. Kemper twice tried to commit suicide in custody. His trial went ahead on October 23rd, 1973. 3 court-appointed psychiatrists found Kemper to be legally sane and fit to stand trial. One of the psychiatrists, Dr. Joel Fort, investigated his juvenile records and the diagnosis that he was once psychotic. Fort also interviewed Kemper, including under truth serum, and relayed to the court that Kemper had engaged in cannibalism, alleging that he sliced flesh from the legs of his victims, then cooked and consumed these strips of flesh in a casserole. Somehow I don't believe that, but he could have. You never know.
No, I actually do believe it because it wasn't that he was like eating every one of them and that he just tried it real fast. just to see what it was
This is
like.
trying to say all of them. He did a little bit of all of them.
No, yeah, that I don't believe every one of them, but even in his own words, he only did it to one of them.
Nevertheless, court determined that Kemper was fully cognizant in each case and stated that Kemper enjoyed the prospect of the infamy associated with being labeled a murderer. Kemper later recanted the confession of cannibalism.
But he's was such an infamous murderer, like, especially at the time. For him to turn himself in, I'm pretty sure they kept him separated from the other the general population. But even if he was in a general population of prison, he he's a gigantic dude who is a psycho killer, and a lot of people
Qu'est-ce
don't
que
want to mess with
c'est?
that. Yeah, they don't want to mess with that. So it's all notoriety. He's infamous and he loves it. You know, everywhere you go, in prison, everything like that.
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que
Did he
c'est?
ever admit to that? Like, oh, which
Yeah,
part?
and then he
Oh,
recanted
yeah,
it.
yeah,
He did it for the content.
pretty much.
Hey, Jackal Demon, what's up? All right, so here we go. California used the Imnagden standard, which is that every man is presumed to be sane and that to establish a defense on the grounds of insanity, it must be clearly proven that at the time of the committing of the act, the party accused was laboring under such a deficit of reason from disease of the mind as not to know the nature and quality of the act that he was doing, or if he did know it, that he did not know that what he was doing was wrong. And by all, by all, you know, logic here, he knew exactly what he was doing was wrong.
Oh, he did. That's why he made the way they really determine whether you know what you're doing is wrong or right is pretty much you hiding the body or hiding the crime. Someone who doesn't know whether this is wrong or right is not going to hide a body or hide the crime in any way, shape, or form.
But yeah, I that's the thing is I would think that his fucked up morals wouldn't let him. I just don't see him eating them or
Yeah,
trying. Yeah.
he only said he consumed a little bit of one just to see what it was like.
Actually, in the thing, it says he confessed to cutting the thigh and eating a little bit of each of them in a casserole, which
The
again seems ridiculous. It doesn't sound like
Yeah,
him.
it doesn't sound like him at all.
So, the Imnagden standard, which I explained a moment ago, which was held that for a defendant to establish a defense on the ground of insanity, it must be clearly proven that at the time of committing the act, the party accused was laboring under such a deficit of reason from disease of the mind and not to know the nature or quality of the act he was doing, or if he did know it, that he did not know what he was doing was wrong. And the fact that he was covering up his tracks would show that he knew that not only that he knew that what he was doing was wrong, but it was premeditated and that he was of the right mind enough so to think it through and how to dispose of a body. Kimber appeared to have known the nature of his acts were wrong, and he had shown signs of malice and aforethought. On November 1st, Kemper took the stand. He testified that he killed the victims because he wanted them for himself, like possessions, and attempted to convince the jury that he was insane based on the reasoning that his actions could have been committed only by somebody with an aberrant mind. He said that two beings inhabited his body and that when the killer personality took over, it was kind of like blacking out. On November 8th, 1973, the six-man, six-woman jury deliberated for 5 hours before declaring Kemper sane and guilty on all counts. He asked for the death penalty, requesting death by torture. However, a memoriam placed on capital punishment by the Supreme Court of California, he instead received 7 years to life for each count, with these terms to be served concurrently, and was sentenced to the California Medical Facility in Vacaville.
Hmm.
Fucking lose heads, perfectly normal behavior, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
I wondered if he had rage blackouts. Well, he might have actually.
Again, for the most part,
That part I kind of do
I
believe.
do believe him because he is
He's been pretty forthcoming with everything that he
with
said.
everything. I do believe that he probably had like he would just snap and just kill, and I bet you there's probably a few times where he woke up in the middle of the act. But the fact that he took the bodies home and then proceeded to have sex with them like for days on end, that shows that he wasn't always blacked out, so he knows what he was doing.
So, psychology. While on trial for murdering his grandparents, Kemper was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic.
Ooh, Becky,
What the fuck? Hey!
what's going on?
When are you coming over? Bitch! What are you doing tomorrow? Huh?
She's probably gonna say you. I'm just kidding.
Woo!
Yay!
What you doing?
What you doing? Hey, Becky.
Hey!
What you gonna do tonight?
Well, I gotta work tomorrow, so that's why I said, "What are you doing tomorrow?"
You know
'Cause I'm off
what?
at noon. I'm off at noon.
You can you can stay
I'm
awake
off
all
at
night long.
noon. I think that was a wind down period. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, actually, we don't know because technically his wind down period was his cool down period was actually
Yes.
he was in prison the whole time until his what was he 18 or something when they released him, and then he immediately this is almost like his berserk mode because this is only what happened over the span of a year, not even that. So, yay!
Just come
Giant
over and look at
titties.
your tits.
Yeah, the numbers go up.
Actually, they went up and then down.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay. So, again, while on trial for murdering his parents, Kemper was grandparents. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia by court-appointed psychiatrists. However, California Youth Authority psychiatrists and social workers at Atascadero State Hospital disagreed on the basis that Kemper showed no flight of ideas, no interference of thoughts, no expression of delusions or hallucinations, no evidence of bizarre thinking. And for the record, people who are schizophrenic are not always killers, not always bad
No.
people. Like
Well,
this is not normal.
that was more of a broad like uh whatever they gave him a diagnosis because at the time they really didn't know a lot about schizophrenia and they kind of just gave that diagnosis to everybody to a lot of people and they didn't know how like I said they didn't know how to diagnose him, so they're like, here you go, you're schizophrenic, and he's not schizophrenic at all.
Yeah. So now I got to get back on track. Further observing him to be highly intelligent and introspective. Kemper was therefore re-diagnosed with personality trait disturbance, passive aggressive type.
Very passive aggressive. Very.
I would take out the passive and just add the aggressive, but So shortly after arriving at the California medical facility in 1973, Kemper was admitted to psychiatrist for reevaluation. He was re-diagnosed with antisocial, narcissistic, schizotypal personality disorders. In the California medical facility, Kemper was incarcerated in the same prison block as other notorious criminals such as Herbert Mullen and Charles Manson.
Yep.
Kemper showed particular disdain for Mullen, who committed his murders at the same time and in the same area as Kemper. He described Mullen as just a cold-blooded killer, killing everybody he saw for no good reason. Kemper manipulated and physically intimidated Mullen, who was only 5'9". He was a full foot taller than Mullen.
Oh yeah.
Kemper stated that Mullen had a habit of singing and bothering people when somebody tried to watch TV. So I threw water on him to shut him up. Then when he was a good boy, I'd give him peanuts. Herbie liked peanuts. That was effective because pretty soon he would ask permission to sing. That's called behavior modification treatment.
Hey, Constance.
Hey, Constance. What? No.
Some people just need to go.
So, Kemper remains among the general population in prison and is considered a model prisoner. He was in charge of scheduling other inmates' appointments with psychiatrists and was an accomplished craftsman of ceramic cups. He was also a prolific narrator of audiobooks. A 1987 Los Angeles Times article stated that he was the coordinator of the prison's program, and had personally spent over 5,000 hours narrating books with several hundred completed recordings to his name. Kemper was retired from these positions in 2015 as he experienced a stroke and was declared medically disabled. He received his first rules violation in 2016 for failing to provide a urine sample. While imprisoned, Kemper has participated in a number of interviews, including a segment in the 1982 documentary The Killing of America, as well as an appearance in the 1984 documentary Murder, No Apparent Motive. His interviews have contributed to the understanding of the mind of serial killers. FBI profiler John Douglas described Kemper as among the brightest prison inmates he interviewed and capable of rare insight for a violent crime. He further added that he personally liked Kemper, referring to him as friendly and open and sensitive, having a good sense of humor. Kemper was forthcoming about the nature of his crimes and has stated that he participated in the interviews to save others like himself from killing. At the time of his, at the end of his murder, no apparent motive interview, he said, "There's somebody out there that is watching this and hasn't done it, hasn't killed people, and wants to, and rages inside and struggles with that feeling, or is so sure they have it under control. They need to talk to somebody about it. Trust somebody enough to sit down and talk about something that isn't a crime. Thinking that way isn't a crime. Doing it isn't just a crime, it's a horrible thing. It doesn't know when to quit, and it can't be stopped easily once it starts." He also conducted an interview with French writer Stéphane Bourgeois in 1991. Kemper was first eligible for parole in 1979. He was denied parole that year, as well as at hearings in 80, 81, and 82. He subsequently waived his rights for a hearing in 85. He was denied parole in 88, where he said society is not ready for any shape or form for me. I can't fault them for that. He was denied parole again in 91, 94. He then waived his right to a hearing in 97 and in 2002. He attended the next hearing in 2007, where he was again denied parole. Prosecutor Ar- Ar- Arian, that, wow.
I don't know.
I think that's a typo. I think that might be Adrian.
Yeah.
Simmons said, "We don't care how much of a model prisoner he is because of the enormity of his crimes." Kemper waived his rights to a hearing again in 2012. He was again denied parole in 2017. He is eligible next year.
You know, they actually might get to the point to where he is so old, they might let him go because he won't be able to commit the crimes anymore.
And that's pretty much it,
But
guys.
Susan says, can you bring up top one? There you
I
go.
think Kemper was doing those interviews for self
Oh,
glorification and
exactly.
reliving the murders. Yeah.
He did all there. He has to if he's telling something, it has to be for a purpose and it has to serve him in some way because the sociopathy and all that stuff. You know. Sorry.
would love to see what happens when you throw a doll head in a cell.
Yeah. Probably just throw it back out.
Got
He's all,
out.
that's a doll head.
Oh, stay safe, dude.
Oh,
Stay
yeah.
safe. They're heading your way. Shit. I'll be watching the Doppler radar tonight. All right, that's about it, guys.
That's it. We're out.
And again, there's so many different things that you can look him up.
You got
Kemper influenced many works of film and literature. He and Ed Gein were used as inspiration for Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs.
yeah.
Like Kemper, Bill fatally shot his grandparents as a teenager. Dean Koontz cited Kemper as an inspiration for Edgar Vess in his novel Intensity, which was a good one. The character Patrick Bateman in American Psycho mistakenly attributes a quote by Kemper to Gein, by the way,
Yeah.
saying, "You know what Ed Gein said about women? He said, when I see a pretty girl walking down the street, I think two things. One part of me wants to take her out, talk to her, be real nice and sweet and treat her right. The other part wonders what her head would look like on a stick."
Yeah.
A
I
direct-to-video horror film loosely based on Kemper's murder, titled titled Kemper, the Co-Ed Killer, was released in 2008. In 2012, French author Marc Dugain published a novel, Avenue of the Giants, about Kemper. Kemper was portrayed by actor Cameron Britton, who is actually 6'5", so a little shorter than him, in 3 episodes of the first season of Mindhunter, and actually received Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Kemper has been the subject of multiple books, including Edmund Kemper, The True Story of the Co-Ed Killer, Edmund Kemper, The True Story of the Brutal Co-Ed Butcher, and The Co-Ed Killer, A Study of Murders, Mutilations, and Matricide of Edmund Kemper III, among others. Yeah. That is it, guys. Have a wonderful night.
All right. Bye, guys.
Say bye. Bye. Stay safe. Yes. Grab a 6-pack and a long chair. There's a tornado coming. Go watch Twister. NEM. It's a Twister.
All right, guys. We're out.
All right. Dude, hold on. Gotta find the exit. Oh,
We're never leaving.
We forgot to play this one.
We're never leaving.
Bye.
The book you are about to read details the tragedy that befell the small town of Riverside, Ohio in 1985. For its residents, an idyllic fall evening at the annual Founders Day Festival became a nightmare. After the accidental death of a local woman, Riker Jenkins was forced to enter a world of death and all-consuming madness. What followed led to the discovery of perhaps the most bizarre series of events in Ohio history. Despite the ongoing investigation of the 30-year murder spree that followed, the police remain baffled. While eyewitness accounts claim to have seen a suspicious mind looking near the scenes of various murders, no suspect was ever apprehended. On the anniversary of her mother's death, Samantha Boone will be forced to face an otherworldly evil with the help of her closest friends and local police chief, John Romero. Together, they will work to uncover the truth as they learn that death isn't black and white. Can Riker Jenkins escape the evil that has consumed him? Or will he remain trapped in the invisible box of eternity? When no one can hear you scream, silence is crimson.
This is Professor.
Oh.